I refer to myself as a backyard Buddhist. I was a single mother. It was difficult to attend teachings. I worked, so it was difficult to attend retreats. So I read a lot of books and I practiced. Just a few years ago, I was struck by this aspiration. Please bless my mind, especially to experience the great and profound, non-fabricated renunciation, bodhicitta, and perfect view. What initially struck me was the word non-fabricated, uncontrived. I don't have that. And thought, wouldn't it be great if I did have uncontrived renunciation, bodhicitta, and perfect view? So initially, when I first became a Buddhist, or got into Buddhism, I jumped into the deep end, into emptiness. I think many of us do. It really is appealing, this view of emptiness, and I did a lot of study around it and, thought I had an understanding of it, and applying it in my life, So I thought. And then, I've also really embraced mind training techniques. When you have difficulties dealing with difficult emotions and feelings, the mind techniques were like life saviours to me. I sort of lost my Christian faith. And if they had the mind training techniques, I would still be a Christian. But, it's what I've really loved about Buddhism is the mind training techniques. And, my mantra has always been, because I couldn't attend a lot of teachings and stuff, that, the important thing is engaged Buddhism. You can sit and listen to teachings as much as you like and reflect, but if you're not engaging in what you're learning, then what's the point? So it's been important for me to put my learning into practice. And, I certainly have explored ways to the view of voidness and mind training techniques for developing bodhicitta, or so I thought. So renunciation. Did I ever spend much time reflecting on renunciation? Not really. Not as interesting as wisdom and bodhicitta. So I thought, I need to look into renunciation. What would uncontrived renunciation look like? So I thought to share with you how I went about doing this. So Lama Tsongkhapa's three principal aspects of the path. I mean, how fortunate are we to be in the tradition of Lama Tsongkhapa? Such a blessing. And so the three principal aspects of the path: persuading to listen. So those who are not attached to the pleasures of circling samsara, who strive to make freedoms and endowments meaningful, who entrust themselves to the path, pleasing the victorious ones. You fortunate ones, listen with a calm mind. So freedom and endowments, or what I prefer to call them, is respites and opportunities. So I've had respite from being an uncultured person in a border region where monastic life isn't active. I'm having respite from not being a stupid person with incomplete mental faculties. I'm having respite from being a mute person with incomplete sensory faculties. I've got respite from being a deity of long life found in the desire realms who is constantly distracted by the activities of desire. I've got respite from being born where a Buddha hasn't arisen and where wrong views are held. I've got respite from being born an animal. I've got respite from being born a hungry ghost. I've got respite from being born a hell realm, in the hell being, as a hell being. So, I truly believe that the hell realms are true. I sort of feel as though I've probably been there many times. I mean, that's what the teachings tell us. We've been there many, many times, and, we're very fortunate to be experiencing a perfect human rebirth at the moment. And so, I do spend time reflecting on the hell realms, not all of them. The one I spend most of my time reflecting on is the reviving hell. That's the one where we all cut and stab and kill and slash and everybody else, and we all die, and then a voice cries out, revive! We all stand up and we all do it again. Or, I was reading Jeffrey Hopkins' Tantric Distinction, and he was saying that the black line hell is what he finds so confronting. Sort of lying down, you're having lines drawn all over you, and then a hot saw comes along and breaks you up. I mean, he says, he's often making points, underlining points and stuff. So, he said that was the one that he found confronting. There's also the crushing hell, being crushed by an iron machine and pressed like sugarcane. The howling hell, hauled into an iron house and incinerated. A hot hell, the extremely hot hells. The neighbouring hells, pit of embers, swamp of putrid corpses, the path of razors. The cold realms, the blistering hell, where a harsh cold wind blows, forming blisters all over the body. The popping blister hell. Chattering teeth, weeping, moaning hells. The splitting lily hell, lotus hell, is where the wind blows, causing skin to turn blue and then splits us into 5 or 6 pieces. Now, how horrific are these hells? Like, they're really horrific. Like, the most horrific, beyond your imagination, horrific. It's sort of, it's like, I love Buddhism in this way. Like, when we're doing the morning prayers with the 35 Buddhas, for the highest of the hell. So for the highest, we dedicate to the highest, to the high of the high, to the most highest, to the highest of the high of the highest, and to higher than that. Well, this is in reverse. It's very, very. So and they say that 5 human years is a single day in these hells. So I do believe I've experienced all these hells many times, and the suffering is horrendous. And it's this suffering that inspires me to practice. I reflect on the suffering, so much suffering. It's an unbelievable amount of suffering. And, we've got to do something about it. I want to do something about it. That's what inspires me when I look at the hell realms, is think about the hell realms, is just the level of suffering there. And, I really do need to put more effort into my practice. And then I have the 10 opportunities. I've been born human. I've been born where monastic life is active, which I'm a part of here. I have complete sensory mental faculties. In other words, I'm not mute or stupid. I have reversible karma, meaning that I haven't committed or caused others to commit or rejoice in the committing of any of the 5 deeds of immediate retribution. And having faith in the source, which means I have faith in the discipline, which is the root of all mundane and supramundane virtuous arising. Virtues arise because of my discipline. And then we have that these aspects apply to myself. Then there are the 5 opportunities that pertain to others. The Buddha has visited. The sublime teachings is being taught. These teachings remain. And people who follow it, aka us. And there is caring for others. Us again. So all of us have embraced these respites and opportunities here at Sravasti. Thought about this unbelievable situation, unbelievable, and that how amazing, truly amazing this is. I often reflect on this triangle analogy, and that, the hell realm beings and the hungry ghost realms and the animal realms, you've got a big triangle, so the hell realms all down here, they take up a good part of it. The triangle, then the hungry ghost and the animals, and then we have the god realms and the not-so-god realms, and all the way up to the human realm. So at the human realm, we're getting quite up to the top of the triangle here. Well, us here at Sravasti, we are at the tip. Fair dinkum, you think about it. How many people have the conditions that we have here? Trying to improve ourselves. We are at the tip of the tip of the tip. The tippiest tip of the tip. So, I reflect on that. So fortunate, so fortunate. So fortunate. So back to Sankappa. The purpose of generating renunciation. Without the complete intention on definitely to be free from circling, there is no way to pacify attachment seeking pleasurable effects in the oceans of circling. Also, by craving for cyclic existence, embodied beings are continuously bound. Therefore, at the very beginning, seek renunciation. Oops, I got ahead of myself, didn't I? Jumping into emptiness and bodhicitta first, oops. So, a teaching I received way back in the beginning on the 8 worldly dharmas really got my attention. It's sort of one of the teachings that I did have early on that I do remember quite clearly, and the person who gave it to me, Venerable Pende Horta. And I thought, I get this. The 8 worldly dharmas, they are the source of all my problems. I get this. And so, some of the 8 worldly dharmas that the 8 worldly dharmas, wanting to be popular, not wanting to be unpopular, being criticised, wanting a good reputation as opposed to a bad reputation, wanting pleasure and comfort and not wanting pain and discomfort, wanting wealth and not wanting to be impoverished. So I did realise the worldly dharmas do take up a lot of my time. And I could see that they were at the root of all my suffering. And I would apply mind training techniques when these occurred, helping me to manage them. So I could at least identify them. I was able to identify them, being caught up in worldly dharma, especially about wanting to be popular and wanting a good reputation. So I would apply the antidotes to these worldly dharmas, using mind training techniques. And they're quite successful. They really are. They're quite successful. But then I realised I'm applying this only for benefit in this life. They were working, but they weren't the cause of me, getting out of samsara. In fact, they were just the cause for me just to have a better life. That's all using these mundane techniques were. And so I got quite a shock when I all these years, and I haven't really been practicing Dharma at all. But anyway, I've still got a bit of life left in me. So to develop bodhicitta and develop the wisdom, I need to have renunciation. Renunciation is the platform on which we develop bodhicitta and wisdom. So Lama Tsongkhapa goes on to tell us, freedoms and endowments are difficult to find, and life has no time to spare. By gaining familiarity with this, attraction to the appearance of this life is reversed by thinking over and over again that actions and their effects are unbetraying, and that repeatedly contemplating the miseries of cyclic existence, attraction to appearance of future lives is reversed. So I've been listening to an audible book by Kyabje Zopa Rinpoche, and he talks about the distinctions that Pabonka Dechen Nyingmo made about the worldly dharmas. He talks about black, mixed and white worldly dharmas. The black 8 dharmas are what we've been just talking about, what we've been mentioned. But the mixed worldly dharmas is actions not done out of worldly concern, but done with a self-cherishing thought. This hits a chord. Then there is the white. The 8 white dharma are actions done without the self-cherishing thought, but under the illusion of thinking things are truly existence. This also sounded familiar. Crikey, I've been fooling myself all these years thinking I was practicing the Mahayana view, the high scope, when really I've been practicing the low scope for most of my life. So some quotes that took my attention from this book, the audible book that I'm listening to. The spy of Mara is rubbing his hands with glee when he sees me craving for food at every meal, wanting chocolate. The muesli I've been eating here is the breakfast I've been longing for the whole time I was in India. So every day I just go in there and count my blessings that, the yummy muesli you have. Being accept with our own comfort, pleasures, being discomfort with being obsessed with my own discomfort and pleasures. This becomes a huge situation. When I'm not obsessed with the worldly dharmas. The craving for fame and fear of being unpopular. Attitudes that need to be developed are, whatever happens in my external environment, I should remain peaceful. I will remain peaceful. Less clinging means less anxiety when things go wrong. So our anxiety is related to our clinging. I need to contemplate this more the next time I'm experiencing anxiety. See praise and blame as merely the wind rustling in the trees. So I'm talking over time, so I'll not talk so much. So the definition of having generated renunciation, when by having trained in that way, there is no arising, even for a second, of attraction to the perfections of cyclic existence. And all day and night, the intention sinking, liberation arises, and the thought of renunciation has been generated. So Shanti Deva's words of wisdom: for without suffering, we will never have renunciation. The determination to be free, determination to free ourselves from the sorrows of samsara. By contrast, if we do have suffering, a longing for definitive freedom will arise in us. Therefore, addressing his mind, Shanti Deva tells himself to stand firm and accept his sufferings patiently, for they are the spur urging him to get out of samsara and exhaustion to virtue. So, quickly, some, I'm sorry I've gone over. And so, reflections of my time here at Sravasti. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you this earlier on. I don't know whether you guys realise, but every day you motivate for bodhicitta 49 times a day. Yeah, 49 times a day. So, but what do we think in between? That's the question. What are we thinking in between? So, so I've been, remember at the beginning I said, I wanted to be at things on time and I wanted to be more disciplined. Well, I feel as though I have had some success with that. Yeah, so I'm pleased. And the times that I wasn't on time, generally I was sleeping, so I was really pleased with the people who came and woke me up to get me going. So my nun's etiquette is still a bit sloppy, but I'm pleased that I am leaving here with a better idea on what good etiquette is. And I've been grateful when people have pointed out my inappropriate behaviour and attitudes. I'm even self-correcting these days. So the other thing is your a cappella chanting. Like, oh my gosh, you guys all sound beautiful. It's everybody is in tune here. You sing with just such gusto. You know everything off by heart. Like, so impressive. And it's all a cappella. Very impressive, very impressive. I think we really underestimate the power of music, the power of chanting. I mean, just look at John Lennon, Imagine. He brought so many people together. And I think, it's obvious with the chanting that I have here. So it would be great. I'd love to see these tunes on the website so I could download them, please. Another thing I enjoyed was the intimacy of the teachings here, a very special quality. And we don't get this sort of intimacy here that you guys have with Venerable Chodron and Venerable Sangye Kadro. So, and I even sat in the front row. Oh my gosh, that was such a thrill, such a thrill. So it's been so refreshing for me to having teachings weekly from female teachers. Thank you to Venerable Chodron and Venerable Kadro. You are both Dharma rock stars to me. And also, of course, Geshe Delek Wangmo. I mean, what a treat that was. So being an environment of women who uphold a culture of respect, transparency and kindness, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. Really, really lovely gift. Holding space for visitors. Everyone here leaves a better person, including myself. And calling each other venerable. This is a constant reminder of our renunciation, isn't it? So, and I hope I continue this when I'm out, is calling each other venerable. I think it's really powerful, especially us women calling each other venerable rather than being called Anila. We are venerables. And so, I think we should now call people like the renunciate Venerable Gyatso, the renunciate Venerable Punsok, and on it would go.